In Capital News tonight, President Samia Suluhu Hassan launches COVID-19 vaccination drive. The Infectious Disease Control Center inaugurated at Lugalo Military Hospital. And in sports, Tanzania Football Federation TFF says the coronavirus vaccination campaign will address challenges faced by football players in getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has officially launched the coronavirus vaccination drive in the country by calling on Tanzanians to stop saying things that will cause others to fear the vaccination, as the vaccination campaign is being implemented to protect people from new COVID-19 infections.
Shule ya msingi na sekondari, usivae barakoa wakati wa michezo tafadhali, epuka kugusa macho.
Ndugu zangu, leo tunazindua uchanjaji Tanzania, tukijua kwamba chanjo tulizonazo ni kidogo sana ukilinganisha na idadi ya Watanzania. Toka nimeanza kuzungumza jambo hili la chanjo, kama alivyosema waziri, kuna wengi wanalikataa, lakini wengi sana wanalikubali. Na nina message nyingi sana zinazouliza mama lini, mama lini, mama lini tunaanza. Kwa hiyo changamoto mbele yangu ni kwamba idadi iliyokuja ni ndogo, jitihada inafanywa, tunategemea tutakwenda kupokea na kupokea na kupokea. Lakini jana nilikuwa na mazungumzo na mkurugenzi mkuu wa kituo cha udhibiti wa magonjwa Afrika,
kuonyesha Watanzania kuwa serikali yetu haina dhamira mbaya kwa kuleta chanjo kwa yeyote anayetaka kuchanja kwa Watanzania. Hakuna kiongozi wa nchi wala wasaidizi walioapa kutumikia jamii, jumuiya yao na wananchi wao wakakubali kuleta kitu kitakachopoteza maisha ya watu.
Mmesinzia kidogo ndugu zangu, leo ni siku nzuri ya kihistoria ambapo tunachukua silaha za kisasa kwenda kupambana na uviko. Haiwezekani tuwe wanyonge. Chanjo ya Johnson ambayo tumeipokea Tanzania na tutaitumia hapa hivi leo imeshatolewa kwa zaidi ya wananchi milioni 8. Watu milioni 8 nchini Marekani kufikia tarehe ya jana, na pia kwa nchi zingine duniani zaidi ya 50 imeshatolewa hii chanjo. Na hizi taarifa kwamba imesitishwa ni uongo.
The vaccination drive was launched nationally in Dar es Salaam, with President Samia Suluhu Hassan leading other leaders to be vaccinated. Now, in another development, President Samia Suluhu Hassan has said as from now on, Tanzanian soldiers who go for peacekeeping missions in various countries, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, will have to undergo Ebola screening. President Samia Suluhu Hassan made the statement in Dar es Salaam when inaugurating the Infectious Disease Control Center at Lugalo Military Hospital, constructed with the support of the German government through its military force at a cost of more than 10 billion shillings.
Tumekuja hapa kushuhudia makabidhiano ya miradi mbalimbali iliyofadhiliwa na serikali ya Ujerumani kwa jeshi la wananchi wa Tanzania.
We are here to witness handing over of different projects that were funded by the government of Germany for Tanzania People's Defense Force. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate TPDF for the good job of protecting our borders, as well as representing the country well in different peacekeeping missions in DRC, Sudan, and Central Africa.
I assure you that the government will continue efforts of improving our force and improve your incomes.
Kama ulivyokwisha elezwa Mheshimiwa Rais, ujenzi wa jengo lenyewe ulianza mwezi Aprili mwaka 2020.
Construction of the building began in April 2020 at a cost of 10.5 billion shillings. The investment makes this department an international department of controlling infectious diseases. It is a very special center in the country. For the first time, a military hospital is having such a department, which is fully equipped.
Germany is a very strong believer in regional cooperation in general and in multilateral solutions for problems occurring in the world. Thus, we support UN peacekeeping missions. And this is not only by sending our own troops, but by supporting the armed forces in Africa, so that African countries can participate in peacekeeping missions and other missions specifically in Africa. This goes hand in hand with the effort of the African Union to build the African peace and security architecture. The aim is to enable African armed forces to solve African problems.
The sixth witness from the Republic in the armed robbery case against former District Commissioner of Hai, Lengai Ole Sabaya, and two co-accused, Bakari Msangi, has continued to testify in Arusha's resident magistrate court. Here's more on the report.
The witness told the court that Sabaya threatened him with a gun while he had handcuffs inside the leader's vehicle, whereby he was told that he was interfering in his activities. He said that Sabaya wanted to know the whereabouts of the owner of Shahidi store, Mohammed Saad, and his relative Ali Saad Hajirin, who he claimed were involved in the money laundering trade. Msangi said that they went to the police station followed by two vehicles, whereby upon arrival he saw two relatives of the shop owner get out and enter the police station. He told the court that they then left with Sabaya, who ordered him to show them Mohammed Saad and Ali Saad's house. And when they got there, he told the guards that he had been sent by the president to do a certain assignment and that they should take him to Mohammed Saad. Msangi told the court that while still in the car, Sabaya received a phone call from the district commissioner of Arusha, Kenan Kiongosi, after which they headed to Mount Mary Hospital. And when they got there, he saw Sabaya's assistant take a bag they had taken from Mohammed Saad's shop. Then Sabaya took money estimated to be more than 1 million shillings and put it in his socks before going to meet Kiongosi outside the hospital. Msangi said that when Sabaya returned in the car, he got a call from the OCD of Hai telling him that the suspects arrested in the afternoon have agreed to give him money and that he should go and collect it. He then said they then went to Tulia Hotel at Sakina area where Sabaya got out, and that was when the driver and one of Sabaya's guards gave him his phone and told him to call his wife so that she can come and get him. He told the court that when his wife got there, she kneeled before Sabaya and begged to release him as they have very small children and they depend on him. The sixth witness will continue to testify in the case on the 29th of July this year.
The government has entered into agreement with Morocco to bring fertilizer imports in the country as efforts or as at affordable prices so as to enable farmers become more productive. The development comes a day after President Samia Suluhu Hassan assured farmers that the problem of fertilizer shortage is being addressed.
Cancelled tenders. Whoever is intending to import fertilizer is allowed to do so, only if they have a permit and import good quality fertilizer.
Kuna hii mbolea nyingine inaitwa NPS zinc.
NPS zinc has 4 nutrients. It is better compared to the one that we have been using, which has 2 nutrients. We have tried the fertilizer in areas that lack nutrients, and it has proved effective.
The immigration force in Kilimanjaro region has arrested 8 illegal nationals from Bangladesh at Lotima village after entering the country through illegal routes along the border between Kenya and Tanzania with the aim of traveling to South Africa.
Jeshi la Uhamiaji katika mkoa wa Kilimanjaro kwa kushirikiana na raia wema.
The immigration force in Kilimanjaro region is collaborating with Good Samaritans in border villages, and they have arrested the Bangladesh citizens who were arrested in Loitima village, Makuyuni ward, who entered the country through illegal routes along the border of Tanzania and Kenya.
Across the border from Kenya to Tanzania, two police officer, border guard, 3 days ago case in the midnight, but police officer 2 was corrupted, take our money and demanded 10 million on Tanzania's money. We don't have money, so contact your boss. Boss didn't receive our call, so he sent us in police station. Police was corrupted, and we are very hopeless. Our country is a political violence, fruit crisis. That's a better life. We come to Africa to find our job.
Now, moving on, the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries has said results of an investigation by Tanzania Fisheries Research Institute TAFIRI on the cause of death of fish found along the shores beach near Ocean Road Hospital, Dar es Salaam a few days ago revealed that the fish did not die from poison but due to lack of oxygen.
Matokeo ya uchunguzi ni kama ifuatavyo. Aina 9 za samaki zilizotambuliwa ambazo ni kui, mkisi, janja, tamba.
The report from investigations made revealed that the 9 fish species that were identified, most of them were juvenile, and that in the stomachs there were no food substances. All of them were in good conditions, with clear skin, eyes, gills, and fresh fillet. This means that the cause of death is neither bombing. This means that the cause of death is neither from explosives or poison.
As the government prepares to roll out the COVID-19 vaccine throughout the country in Handeni District, Tanga region, some pupils have stopped going to school in fear of being punished for not wearing face masks, with the district commissioner calling on residents to follow advice from health experts on COVID-19 and not witch doctors.
I have personally found pupils hiding in the bush during school hours. When I asked them why they're not going to school, they said that they're not going to school because they have no face masks. If you don't have a face mask, teachers will cane you and chase you out to go and find face masks before going back to school.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for some great news? I'm Christine Mundwa.
And I am Eddie Micah Jr. with the brand new DW News Africa,
The show that tackles the issues shaping the continent.
now with more time to offer an in-depth look at all the trends that matter to you.
What's making the headlines and what's behind them?
We're on the streets to give you in-depth reports and insights.
DW News Africa.
Welcome back, and in international news. Economists, security experts, activists and citizens in Uganda have called on the government to withdraw the lockdown being implemented to curb COVID-19 infections. They said whether the lockdown is removed or not, they will return to their normal daily activities as from next week.
Vaccination of the eligible population of 22 million, who represent 40%, is a means of controlling the pandemic and opening up economic activities.
A court has revoked WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's Ecuadorian citizenship. Here's more on the report.
Ecuador's justice system formally notified the Australian that his naturalization has been nullified after Ecuadorian authorities said the supporting letter had multiple inconsistencies, different signatures, the possible alteration of documents, and unpaid fees, among other issues. Assange remains imprisoned in London's high-security Belmarsh prison as the United States seeks his extradition. He has been accused of conspiring with former U.S. military intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning to leak a trove of classified material in 2010.
Vaccinations are once again being hotly debated in Europe, with over half of the EU's adult population fully inoculated. Vaccine uptake now seems to be declining. This has sparked a discussion about whether or not the vaccinated should face further restrictions in the public realm. Let's join DW's Nicole Frolich from Berlin for more. Nicole, why is this causing such controversy?
Well, in Germany, like in many other countries around the world, vaccinated people currently enjoy the same freedoms as tested people. But with the accuracy of rapid tests increasingly under scrutiny and the Delta variant rapidly advancing, some prominent figures here are demanding a rethinking of the current handling. Now, critics argue that restrictions for the unvaccinated, and that would include tested unvaccinated people, would amount to a vaccine mandate through the back door. That governments would maintain their stance, saying, well, it's up to you to get vaccinated or not, we're not forcing you. But that large parts of the public sphere would then be off limits to the individuals in question. Proponents of these measures see it as a way of making vaccines more attractive to those who don't think it's necessary to protect themselves and those around them, but those opposed say it discriminates those who, for one reason or another, don't want to or cannot get the shot. This discussion is, of course, far from the actual vaccine mandates we're seeing in countries like France and Greece, where healthcare workers now have to get a shot to be able to work or receive pay. And that has a lot of people very angry, so much so that we saw violent protests against the measures in both countries over the weekend.
Now, speaking of vaccines, the European Medicines Agency just greenlit the modern vaccine for children over the age of 12. Does that mean teens are now being vaccinated across the EU?
Not really. The EMA decision is really only a recommendation to EU member states. Every country now has to ratify national use independently. The BioNTech-Pfizer vaccine has actually had the EMA stamp of approval for use in underage patients for quite some time, and not many countries have started administering shots to teens. Denmark and France, for example, already offer vaccination to children over the age of 12, but here in Germany, the Vaccine Commission only recommends use on kids with pre-existing conditions. The committee says there isn't yet enough data on youth vaccination to make a more generalized call, but that argument isn't going to hold up much longer. There have been lots of children vaccinated in other countries, so the data gap is closing. Pressure is mounting not only because around the EU it now seems to be the young, unvaccinated population driving infection rates, but also because immunizing children would take a heavy burden off their shoulders, and those of their parents, of course, especially when it comes to education. But in many German states, it's already too late to get kids fully vaccinated before the next school year begins.
It's peak travel season in Europe right now. Many people are once again daring to take trips abroad, but that's got authorities quite worried, hasn't it?
Very much so. 10% of all cases registered in Germany are currently attributed to travelers returning from abroad. Just last month, that was 1%. Right now, people entering Germany only need to quarantine or provide proof of immunization when they're flying in from high-risk areas. But it just seems to be the case that no matter where people go on vacation, they let their guard down. And really, after 1.5 years in and out of lockdown, who can blame them? But the German government doesn't want to sit idly by and watch holidaymakers drive a potential fourth wave. The health minister now wants to tighten the rules for travelers. As soon as this weekend, a negative test result or proof of vaccination could be required no matter where people come from and whether they arrive by air, by rail, or by road. That would, of course, be a major logistical challenge, bearing in mind that there are no border controls between EU nations. But other countries like Poland, for example, have had similar rules in place for some time now. The issue of making mobility and travel safe, though, is truly one of the major global challenges going ahead. This week, we saw the US saying they're not going to lift their travel restrictions for the time being, so the Delta variant really is dampening hopes of travel returning to normal anytime soon.
All right, thank you so much, Nicole, for those updates. And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
And meet business leaders and experts who keep you informed on business and economic developments taking place in the country, such as tourism, construction, energy, transport, mining, agriculture, communication, banking, real estate, and more. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Welcome back, and in business news. The Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Engineer Hamad Yusuf Masauni, has directed Tanzania Investment Bank TIB to ensure all debts and loans worth 535.3 billion shillings given to customers without following procedures, as well as from defaulters, are collected so that the funds can be issued as loans in more productive areas.
Loans that were provided under the previous system will be returned at any cost. They should not hesitate to present challenges they face to the government so that we can intervene in order to control price inflation. We are excited to participate in formulation of policies in different sectors. In regard to loans that were issued before 2016, we are ready to collaborate with the government in coming up with solutions and the way forward.
Consumers in Kagera region have called on the government to intervene in rising prices of meat, which have gone up from 6,000 to 7,000 shillings a kilo, claiming traders have increased prices without considering the economic situation of people in the region.
What has caused meat prices to go up is increase in the prices of cattle at auctions and high transportation costs. Traders are highly affected because we are forced to increase prices of meat at the butchers so as to enable us earn something. I advise traders to consider their regular customers before adding the digits, and before they improve new prices, and before they come up with new prices, they should announce to citizens regarding the changes.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment, going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment, going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. He did lose some length.
Welcome back, and in sports news. President of Tanzania Football Federation TFF Wallace Karia has said the coronavirus vaccination campaign in the country will address challenges faced by football players in getting vaccination certificates when required to travel to participate in international matches.
Tunapata chanjo hii kwa sababu tunasafiri sana, tunakutana sana na watu wengi, lakini pia tusisahau kuchukua kinga kama tahadhari. Sio kwamba tumechanja tukaamua kujiachia. Tuhakikisha kwamba tunajilinda sisi na tunawalinda na wengine, kwa sababu chanjo hii bado wengi wetu watakuwa hawajapata. Kwa hiyo sisi ambao tumepata tuwalinde na tuhakikishe kwamba tunafanya yale ambayo yanastahili kwa ajili ya kujiepusha na madhara ya maambukizi.
The management of Dar es Salaam Basketball Association has announced that the new league will start on 6th of August and will finish at the end of September.
Kwa mwaka huu, kwa sababu ligi fupi, tutaweka makundi mawili, East na West. Kwa katika hizo timu 8 kila kundi, timu 4 kila kundi zitaweza kuqualify na kuingia kwenye hatua ya robo finali. Pia tutaingia kwenye nusu finali, then tutamalizia finali. Kwa hiyo itatupelekea kumaliza ligi kwa wakati.
Defending champions Brazil is through to the quarterfinals of the men's Olympic football, but 2016 silver medalist Germany are eliminated. Here's more on the report.
Everton striker Richarlison scored 2 late goals as Brazil beat Saudi Arabia 3-1 to finish top of Group D, with Ivory Coast second after holding Germany to a 1-1 draw. In Group B, South Korea beat Honduras 6-0 to qualify as group winners. New Zealand drew 0-0 with Romania to finish second on goal difference. Germany needed to beat Ivory Coast to make it through, but fell behind midway through the second half when Benjamin Herrings put the ball into his own net while attempting a tackle in the 6-yard box.
The USA's men's basketball team bounced back from their shock opening game defeat with a comfortable 120-66 victory over Iran.
Winning streak ended by France on Sunday, but never looked in danger of suffering another loss here. Damian Lillard top scored with 21 points, while Devin Booker added 16 points and 5 rebounds. In total, the team sank 19 three-pointers with 6 players, ending the match in double figures. The Americans, who have won gold at the past 3 games, can secure their place in the knockout stages with a win against Czech Republic in their final group game on Saturday.
Swiss sprinter Alex Wilson is out of the Olympics after his provisional doping suspension was reinstated despite his claims the banned substance came from eating contaminated beef. Here's more on the report.
He had successfully appealed a ban from anti-doping Switzerland after testing positive for the steroid trenbolone. Wilson was due to contest both the 100 meters and 200 meters in Tokyo.
And that's what ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Karija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.
You can watch Capital News live on our social media accounts, YouTube Capital TV and Facebook Capital Television Tanzania from Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe and put notification on.